All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CrossBonesMMA's UFC 195 pre-fight show. My name is Eddie Law. With me tonight, Don Manos. How you doing, man?
It's all good out here in Oklahoma, like always, Eddie.
I hear that. How was New Year's in Oklahoma?
New Year's in Oklahoma, I guess, from what my friends are showing me, they had like the normal, get drunk kind of night. I had to sit at work from 5 to midnight, just talking to people on the phone kind of night.
All right, man. Well, hey, I didn't have a too crazy of a night either. I hung out with some friends, had a couple of Jello shots, nothing too crazy. Anyway, all right. So tomorrow, obviously, we have UFC 195. We have UFC bypass prelims, FS1 prelims, and the main card pay-per-view. Give you the times real quick. bypass prelims, 6 p.m. 30 Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. FS1 prelims, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and the main card on pay-per-view, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. The standard times for a pay-per-view. All right, let's start breaking down fights, man. Bypass prelims, first fight on the bypass prelims. Sheldon Westcott against Edgar Garcia. Westcott is 9-3. He's 9-3 and one draw out of Alberta, Canada. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He was on, if you remember him from the Ultimate Fighter Nations, Canada versus Australia. He made it to the finals of the show, but he lost to Elias Theodoro. He fought at 185 on the show, so he dropped to 170. Obviously, most of those guys drop because it's easier to make weight at a higher weight class than you're normally used to fighting in. Multiple times during the show. Now, if you guys remember, he ragdolled Dan Kelly on the show, but he prefers to keep it standing. But if it goes to the ground, he prefers the top position, I think. He does have a submission game, and he has 3-7 wins on his record. Now, Garcia is 14-4 out of Yuma, Arizona, but somehow the UFC has him coming out of Mexico. I'm assuming he lives in Mexico and just comes over and trains. But Yuma's close enough, I guess. People make jokes, give Yuma back to Mexico and Tucson while they're at it. But he's 0-3 in the UFC, so both of these guys really need to win. This is Garcia's second stint in the UFC. He's already 0-1. He fought Hector Urbina in Mexico, UFC 180. Now, Garcia has a good ground game. He has 5 submission wins on his record, but he shines on his feet from what I've seen on YouTube and all the fights that I looked up. When you look at this fight, Don, what do you see? Who do you see having the advantage of this thing?
Disadvantage-wise right now, I would probably go with Sheldon Westcott due to more experience with higher-level competition, not just on the Ultimate Fighter, but with his fights. Elias Theodoro upcoming in that weight division at 185. Now, when you look at the other guy, whose name I always will forget, Edgar Garcia, I don't really see anything on his record that makes me think that he has a chance. Of course, everybody has a chance, but he doesn't really strike me as someone who's going to really take this fight. Sheldon trains over at Jackson's. He trains with the likes of Cerrone, Condit, and a bunch of other people that are on this card. I just see him actually pulling it off. Maybe this will probably be one of those that just goes to decision at the first, and then we'll get some exciting fights later in the night. But I got Sheldon Westcott.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way on that. I think Edgar Garcia is going to bring his striking game. Now, obviously, from what I saw on YouTube and all that, the guy can stand. He has a submission game. Westcott, when the videos, most of the videos that I saw was him against Dan Kelly, and he ragdolled the dude, right? It was like, who was telling me? I was watching it, and I was talking to someone on Twitter about it, and they called it Suplex City, I guess the Brock Lesnar thing that he was using on John Cena in WWE. But and it kind of looked like that. So the dude has some ground game. I think he might take Garcia down. I don't know. For Garcia's sake, he better hope that it stays on the feet. So I'm gonna take Garcia though. I'm gonna take him by decision. It's not gonna be a finish. Usually the first couple fights in the card are not gonna be a finish, especially on this one. So all right, man. Moving on to the next fight here, and shout out to Andrew Reed tuning in from the UK. All right, next fight here, Joe One Bad Mofo Soto. By the way, why the UFC doesn't say that on TV is beyond me. They should be saying One Bad Mofo Soto, but they just have him as Joe Soto. It's dumb. I actually like that nickname for some reason. But Joe Soto against Michinori Tanaka. Soto's 15-4 out of Northern California, a wrestler. He wrestled when he was wrestling. He was a teammate of John Jones, a roommate of John Jones. He was a teammate of Cain Velasquez at one point. He's a former Bellator featherweight champ. Got to the UFC. If you remember at UFC 177 when Renan Barão popped his head in a bathtub, Soto was supposed to fight Anthony Burchak. Got pulled from that bout. Got put in the title fight in his first fight in the UFC, and put up a pretty good fight. Lost in the 5th round. Got TKO'd, but put up a good fight. 0-2 in the UFC. Losses to Dillashaw, obviously, and a loss to Anthony Burchak when they finally fought. Burchak just blitzed him and knocked him out. So he's inconsistent, but his hands at range are pretty good. Now, he has the wrestling to get guys to the ground, obviously, and control where the fight goes. His opponent, however, is a pretty good grappler. So, we'll see where Soto wants to take the fight. Tanaka is 10-1 out of Japan. And now the team that I read that he trains with, or the team that he's with, is Team Alpha Male Japan, which is weird. So I don't know. I don't know if you ever heard of that. I've never heard of Team Alpha Male Japan. But, Uriah Faber's a businessman. Maybe he's trying to get, phase out to the different countries. Anyway, he's 0-1 in the UFC. Now, Tanaka's specialty is judo, and he's very fast, and he's a very, very fast and aggressive wrestler. And he's constantly going for submissions, and he's a sneaky bastard when it comes to submissions. So, on the other hand, his hands are kind of questionable. So I'm thinking Soto's going to try to keep this fight on the feet. Not saying his wrestling doesn't match up with Tanaka, but, you kind of, if you have a pretty big advantage on one spot, you kind of want to go with that, I think. So I'm going to take Soto via decision, man. What do you think on this fight?
I mean, a lot of the things that you just said are kind of the same thing that I was thinking. When it comes to Joe Soto, I think it's going to be kind of a stand-up fight because Tanaka will try to wrestle you. He'll try to basically put you in any submission that he can get a hold of. But didn't Soto do really well on EBI at one point?
Yeah, well, he killed it at EBI.
Yeah,
his grappling is not bad. It's just this Tanaka dude, the only thing he does is grapple.
Makes sense. I mean, I could see it actually being a finish with like Soto clipping him probably around the second and third round, and then probably just get him in a guillotine. I mean, if I was him, I would try to keep it standing too, because if you do one thing a little bit better than the other, you try to exploit that as good as you can. You don't want to go to the ground with somebody who might have as good of a ground game as you do. So, Soto, third round, guillotine.
Guillotine, all right. See, and again, and Mike tweeting in saying that Soto's grappling is legit. I completely agree. And you just reminded me of EBI. Yeah, he did great at EBI. I was very, very impressed with Soto. Soto's ground game. I didn't know he had it like that. I'll tell you that much. But all right, the next fight. Now, real quick, Dustin Poirier against Joe Duffy. Why do you think this shit's on Fight Pass? It makes no sense.
I actually know why.
Why?
UFC said due to the fact that they dropped the fight originally, that was supposed to be the Fight Pass main event. Mm-hmm. They're giving it to all the Fight Pass subscribers instead of them having to make sure that they have Fox Sports 1 or buying the pay-per-view, because this is a pay-per-view quality match. So they're giving it to us on Fight Pass to make up for, sorry, Dublin was awful. Here's your makeup.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you. That makes sense. I didn't fucking know. I didn't even think about that at all. So yeah, if you didn't know, the more you know. Anyway, number 12 ranked featherweight. No, this is lightweight fight. My bad. Number 12 ranked lightweight Dustin Poirier against Irish Joe Duffy. Poirier, 18-4 out of Coconut Creek, Florida. He's a veteran of WEC. Came over to the UFC during after the merger. 10-3 in the UFC. Until now, it was very weird that this fight was on Fight Pass, but now it makes sense. But you could easily replace at least two fights on the main card with this one. But regardless, it's pretty nice to get a fight of this caliber on Fight Pass now. So Poirier is a strong puncher, and he's got a pretty good submission game. He's good when he can be the aggressor or the bully, if you will. But he's not so great when his opponent's the aggressor, right? As you saw with Conor McGregor and Cub Swanson. He has a win over Max Holloway, but that was in 2012 when Max was like a baby and had no experience. Duffy, 14-1 out of Ireland, 2-0 in the UFC. Duffy obviously known as the last guy to defeat Conor McGregor. He has a boatload of experience, really, and he has powers in his hands. While Duffy has, 2 fights in the UFC only, he's got 2 important factors. He's got the win over Conor McGregor, and he trains at TriStar. And TriStar is a place where fighters go to train with champions and champion caliber fighters, and it's a gym where they come up with very good game plans. Actually, now that I think about it, they have high-level guys in pretty much every discipline you could think of. So it's a pretty good spot to go to. And now you see, for example, and they have dorms and all that, so you could just live there and train. Jackson Wink, MMA in New Mexico, just putting in dorms now in their new facility. So it's kind of like the new thing in gyms now for big camps. But what do you think of this fight, man? You got 2 guys that are pretty good strikers. Who are you picking?
Probably the second hardest pick on the card, honestly. I mean, I love what Joe Duffy's been doing in the UFC. He just needs to speak up a little more, in my opinion. If he wants people to actually know more about him, he needs to speak up and just show people who he is. I honestly think 2016 is the year of Dustin Poirier. I see Poirier winning this fight. I see it being it's going to be weird, but I can see Poirier sinking a Darce, something we haven't seen in a long time from him. I could see him getting a Darce in this fight and taking it. It's not going to be first or second round. It's going to be a third round. It's going to be fun fight for the first 2 rounds. It's going to be back and forth. Poirier is probably going to end up getting rocked with a high kick because he has a questionable jaw sometimes, depending on how hard he comes in. But at 155, he looks great. Like probably the best I've ever seen in his career. So I'm going to go with Poirier. I'm thinking he's going to get that Darson. He's going to come with the rankings, and in 2017, we might see him. Might even get a title shot.
Well, oh wait, you think Poirier gets the title shot off this win?
Not off this win. No, in 2016, if he wins this right now, I could see him probably if Habib is good, he could face Poirier, but I don't recommend that because I want Habib to have the title too, though. So yeah, I could see him winning this, getting a top 7 opponent.
Mm-hmm. All right. Here's what I think about this fight, man. It's Duffy's got the height, he's got the reach on him, right? He also has experience as a boxer, and while Poirier has power in his hands, he's not the most technical striker, right? I think Duffy's way more technical. I think, and honestly, I think this is the year we get Duffy McGregor. I think somehow their paths are going to collide at 155, and we're going to get some just ridiculous fight down the road in Ireland, in that stadium. So. I don't know, man. That might just be the matchup I want to see, but I really do think Duffy could beat Poirier, and I think he takes it late in the third round, some kind of TKO stoppage. But you mentioned the Darce coming out of Poirier. I would not be surprised if that happened at all.
Yeah.
So no, you're right. That's a hard fight to call as well. Over on Twitter, Andrew Reed saying Duffy wins. All right, like I said, we both picked a different guy, so it worked out. All right, moving on. FS1 prelims. Starting off with Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman against Drew Dober. Holtzman undefeated 8-0 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, 1-0 in the UFC. Now Holtzman is not really a good striker. He's solid, but he's not great on the feet. He does like to get top control and ground and pound and everything. And he's undefeated, but obviously not against UFC caliber talent. He has an okay submission game. He has 2 sub wins on his record, but nothing super amazing that would be like, oh shit, be careful of his grappling. Excuse me. He does have power and mad athleticism, though. Dober, 15-7 and 1-0 contest at Omaha, Nebraska. 1-3 and 1-0 contest in the UFC. Dober is kind of just. I was trying to think of a way to describe Drew Dober, and I was like, Dober is just Dober. Nothing really stands out about the guy to me, other than the most unfortunate things. For example, the Jamie Varner fight. I mean, was that really a fight? Varner got injured immediately. And then Leandro Silva fight, where that was weird. It's all kinds of weird stuff. And then of course he gets subbed by Escudero in the first round. That didn't help him. And wasn't that kind of controversial too? That fight against Escudero?
I don't remember much about it. Was it at like UFC 180 or something in Mexico?
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember now. That's a good question. I gotta look that up. But no, the only thing I'm saying that was weird because I remember him being in a fight where he was in a guillotine.
Oh, that's the Silva fight.
That was a Silva fight? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because he was in a guillotine. He passed the side control, was out of the guillotine, and the ref stopped it because he thought he was out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it was in Mexico, UFC 188. First round submission. Okay, yeah, so he did get caught in the guillotine. All right. So, lose the guillotine, first round, real quick there for Dean Escudero. So, really bad luck for Drew Dober right now. Badly needs to win. I mean, in my opinion, badly needs to win. The last one he had was Jamie Varner. The Leandro stuff between that Varner and the Escudero fight, but I think he needs this win just to get his momentum going again. But the way they're releasing guys in the UFC these days, the other day they released 8 guys. They released Maldonado, who did them like a million favors by taking fights nobody else wanted, and they still cut him. So he could definitely use a little bit of cushion, a cushion between the pink slip and himself there. It's a bit of a weird fight, and I don't know. I'll go first. I think Holtzman's going to use his power and his athleticism to get a decision over Dober. Again, we haven't seen Holtzman fight against anybody UFC caliber, and Dober's been around for a little bit, but at least a couple years. But I think the athleticism of Holtzman's going to take over and get him a win here by decision probably. But who are you picking in this one?
I really want to say it's going to be Drew Dober because he fights now. The difference between his last fight with Escudero and what he is now, he got pulled over to the Muscle Farm facility
in Colorado.
Yeah, he's in that huge facility with a bunch of people.
No kidding.
So, I mean, I want to say it's going to be him, but I don't see him dealing with the power of Holtzman. And, I mean, he's coming off 2 losses, 1 controversial loss, 1 loss where it was actually a real loss. I just see Holtzman keeping on his undefeated streak. I don't know much about him. I really didn't have a chance to see the last fight he was in the UFC, but undefeated, good striker. I'll take it. You convinced me.
All right. All right. Moving on to the next fight here. Episode 1 prelims. Justine Kish against Nina Ansaroff. Kish 4-0 out of LA and Black House MMA over there. Now, she's making her UFC debut. She was supposed to be in the season of Tough with the strawweights, but she suffered a knee injury that took her out of the competition. I'm pretty sure it was a knee injury. I don't remember 100%. But, however, she has a win over Ronda Marcos in the RFA, which, while in RFA, a win over Ronda Marcos, in my opinion, is pretty damn credible. And but she hasn't fought since then, which was 2014. And she's an aggressive striker. Lacks what can I say? She lacks a lot of like a ton of technical ability. Like she has some, but she doesn't have. She's not like a super technical fighter. You know, at least you wouldn't watch a fight and say, "Oh, she's super technical," right? But she has power on her right hand, especially, and her elbows are nice. Kicks are definitely pretty good with her though. Ansaroff 6-4 out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in Masters MMA. 0-1 in the UFC. Has a nice right hand and serviceable takedowns, but beyond that, we don't really know much about her game. She's kind of a journeyman of a fighter of sorts. And honestly, dude, to me, unless Kish's knee injury changed her completely, she should win this one. I got her be a TKO, probably like a second round. What you got?
I had Justin Kish as well. I mean, Black House is the answer. That's all you really need to say. If you're saying a Black House, you're going to be a striker. And I mean, Vegas agrees as well. I mean, they're not giving her a high marking. They only got her at a 265 favorite to a 225 or 225 dog for their Ansaroff. So it's kind of even. It's a good bet to put on if you're looking to make some money. Go ahead and make Kish your main bet. So I take Kish second round TKO. She got power.
Yeah, she got mad power on her for sure. All right, next fight, Colin Noak. Damn it, is it Noak or Noki? It's Noak, right? No, thank you. Fucking Andrew Reed has told me a million times, I think, or everyone's told me a million times. I think I never remember it. Anyway, Noak against Alex the Great White Morano. Noak, 22-7-1 out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Jackson Wink MMA. 6-3 in the UFC. Here's a fun fact. Noak was a bodyguard of one Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter, at one point. He trained Irwin in boxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. He was a member of Chuck Liddell's team on Tough 11. Now, he's 35 years old out of Australia. He's been in the UFC since 2010. He was supposed to take on Kelvin Gastelum, but Gastelum dropped out due to injury. By the way, do you know why, what the injury was? Because I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either.
All right. Well, no one knows. So, maybe he ate a cheeseburger and it fucked stomach.
Couldn't make weight.
Probably couldn't make weight. Anyway, but he gets a new opponent on short notice. Noak is a grappler whose striking has actually improved. Even in his older, he's 35 years old. His striking just gets better every time he fights, honestly. But he's never been one to be very consistent. But he looked pretty good against Sabata, which is his last fight. He's a tough guy to beat. Morano's 11-3 out of Houston, Texas. Gracie Barra Woodlands. Morano's making his UFC debut on short notice, obviously. His technique is not elite level yet, but he's got power. And if he lands, he hurts. Whatever he hits, he put the dent in, right? So he's got a shot in this fight. But obviously, I don't think so. I think short notice, lack of technical ability, as far as we know, obviously, because he hasn't fought in the UFC yet. It's kind of hard not to go with Noak on this one. I'm gonna take Noak via submission, probably first round. Honestly, who you got?
I watched the Legacy fights where Morano won his title.
Yeah,
that guy is nuts.
Oh yeah, so, he's a blitzer guy. Yeah.
Based on Jackson MMA and the little fights I've watched with Morano, I'm gonna take the underdog and say Morano will win TKO first round. I think Morano is going to hit him with a hammer, and he's gonna hit him. He's gonna knock him down. He's gonna end up just TKOing in the first round. It's probably around the 3-minute mark because Morano has that power where he carried it all the way, I believe, into like the third round when he won that title in Legacy. Yeah. So if he can carry him to the third round, he can easily knock him out first round. Plus, Noak's been inconsistent, like you said. That's the story of his career. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can see that too. I was thinking about that too, about his the mad just fucking rushes that dude throws on people in Legacy. Yeah, I can see that too. First round finish, TKO from Morano. I just think Noak is gonna be like, okay, I better stay away from this guy's hands and just run. And of course, I give a lot of credit to Jackson Wink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come up with the craziest game plan. So let's see what happens. All right, next fight, the feature prelim, the return of number 8 ranked by bantamweight Michael McDonald against Masanori Kanehara. McDonald 16-3 out of Modesto, California, which is last stand fight team. I'm Pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere here. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Last hand fight team. 5-2 in the UFC. He's been out due to injury in 2013, and his last fight was in 2013 against Uriah Faber, which he lost via the dreaded guillotine choke of Team Alpha Males, like their one master thing that they do. Because he's sure not going to do that anymore. Anyway, he's heavy-handed. He's got kickboxing skills. He's a very solid wrestling game. Now, he's had multiple surgeries on his hands and his wrists since he got injured. So we don't know how good he's going to be as far as throwing hands anymore. And it might play a factor as far as getting him injured during the fight. But I imagine he's not going to stop throwing hard anyway. Kanehara, 25, 12, and 5, super experienced, out of Tokyo, Japan. 1-1 in the UFC. He's a good kickboxer, but he blocks strikes with his face. Like, he's a fun guy to watch. Usually when you hear, oh, he's a fun guy to watch, he takes some shots, or a lot of them, and he takes them hard. But he's an exciting fight. He's an exciting fighter. He throws all the cares out the window, and it can make it's potential for this fight to get really bloody, like really, really bloody. So I don't know. It's hard. Honestly, this pick's kind of hard for me just for the fact that McDonald's been hurt. But who you got in this one?
I'm actually going to say McDonald comes back with a vengeance, kind of like what we got to see with Dominic Cruz when he came back. I think they're doing the same thing. They're throwing up-and-coming guy, maybe even eventually the title contender, a little Japanese guy who likes to take shots, and they're hoping they get the same effect with a 30-second knockout. I don't see a 30-second knockout. I could see McDonald dragging it into the third, probably finishing in the third, but just to be safe, I'm going to go decision McDonald. But I can see this being a fun fight and one of those that get you ready to start watching that main card.
Definitely, and I'm picking McDonald as well. I'm picking him. I'm actually picking him TKO. I'm thinking maybe second round after Kanehara's taking a ton of big shots. I'm wary about the hands thing. You know what I mean? Once you've injured your hands plenty of times. What's his name? Uncle Creepy. Uncle Creepy. Yeah. He's had so many hand surgeries he can't close his hand like this anymore. He's kind of like that for the most part. Yeah, so I'm wary of that, man. And multiple surgeries on your hands, I just wonder if he's going to be able to get through a fight without getting him injured so bad that he can't throw him, you know?
The reason why I'm not picking a TKO is it's the mental aspect to me. I think he's going to hit him a couple of times. He's going to realize, okay, my hands don't hurt so bad, but I don't want to swing as hard because I don't want to end up snapping my wrist.
Yeah, it's true. All right, moving on to the first fight on the main card, Abel Killer Trujillo against Tony Don't Call Me 2.0 Sims. First of all, no fighter has gone on more of a campaign to get people to stop calling him his nickname than Tony Sims. He's literally like, don't call me 2.0 over and over and over again. So don't call him 2.0. It's his new nickname. Anyway, Trujillo, 12-7 and 1 no contest out of Delray Beach, Florida. Black Zillions. He's 3-3 and 1 no contest in the UFC. So he's kind of rocking the boat a little bit. Now he loves to throw bombs, but we've seen him gas out before because he does that. He's a wrestler with power and decent technique, but he can gas out if he rushes someone. Like, for example, if he hurts somebody and thinks they're hurt and he rushes at him, we've seen him, we've seen people make it through the end of the first round. He comes out back in the second, and he's breathing hard already. So hoping he kind of takes a little more conservative approach in this fight if he wants to win. Sims is 12-3 out of Denver, Colorado, 1-1 in the UFC. My opinion, he's more technical on the feet than Trujillo, and to me, that's kind of all I need to know in this fight. If he's able to withstand Trujillo's bombs or stay away from him and just kind of stick and move, I think he should be able to take this fight at least via decision. Yeah, I'm gonna go with decision on this one. Who you got?
I got Tony Sims as well. I mean, he's fighting out of the Muscle Farm facility, same as Drew Dover. So they're coming up with game plans up there because I got Leister Bowling, who's probably one of the best coaches that no one really talks about in fighting to a day. He also has Sean Madden, Muay Thai coach or Muay Thai expert up there. It's just a great camp that they got building up, and I think all that striking coming together is going to make it more technical. Trujillo is down with, I think Henry Hooft is the coach at the Black Zillions.
Right.
Henry Hooft.
Oh, Henry Hooft, yeah. Kickboxing coach, yeah.
Yeah, he's down there. He's getting technical kickboxing, but the problem, like you said, is the cardio. He bum rushes you if he smells blood, and then he can't get past the second round. I could see Sims dragging it, just staying on the outside, doing the John Jones hit and run, and then decisioning it. But I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think we're going to get some good fireworks for a minute, maybe in the first round or so with Abel's power. But then Sims is going to find a way to just decision him out.
Yeah, I'm with it as well. All right, next fight on the main card, the return of Diego Brandao. Actually, not the return. He already fought I think once or twice as Conor McGregor, but I call it the return because we haven't seen this guy on the main card since that shit. So, Diego DB Brandao against Brian TCD Ortega. Brandao 24-10 out of Albuquerque, New Mexico via Brazil, of course. Jackson Wink MMA as well. 6-3 in the UFC. Brandao has a style of, like he kind of goes, fuck it, eat fists, and he hasn't changed. Obviously, the last two fights, TKO wins. And I don't think he's going to change in this one either. Ortega's undefeated, 9-0, 1-0 contest. And 1-0 in the UFC. He's got that 1-0 contest in the UFC as well. Ortega is bigger than Diego. He has a reach. To me, the question is, can he pressure Brandao, stop that balls out striking game of Diego's, right? Or will he just take his fight to the ground? Brandao's already been going around saying, I'm gonna cancel out or I'm gonna stop Ortega's jiu-jitsu. What do you think of this fight, man?
I think this is the best fight on the card. Honestly, it's gonna be fun, just like the last fight with Ortega. Ortega can take shots, and Brandao likes to give shots. Like I think honestly, Jackson's plan with him is sit him down and be like, listen, I want you to go out there, don't listen to a single word I say, just do whatever you think is right.
Yeah.
And he's going to go out there. They're going to throw down. It's going to be fun. There's going to be some blood. And then it's actually going to go to the ground with, you have Brandao coming out of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in his blood. But then you have Gracie Jiu-Jitsu with T-City. I could see T-City Ortega getting him in a triangle in round 2, actually. I think it's going to be fight. It's going to be fight of the night for sure.
You think so? You think this one might be more exciting than the main event?
Honestly, yeah, I could see this being more exciting because these are two lighter guys who can actually just sit there and throw down. And UFC kind of likes ground wars a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, I'm actually gonna take Diego Brandao. I think he's gonna catch him with a punch, man. I think he's gonna be one of those catch. You just got caught. And that was kind of it. But I think Diego he's kind of on this surge of momentum, in my opinion, with these two last TKO wins. That he's gonna get this one, but. I don't know. I'm excited as hell for the fight. I'll tell you that. That's one of the few. Like a lot of the casuals are like, who the hell is that? Like they don't know either one of these guys. I'm like, you better learn about these guys. They're gonna be good.
Google these people. We have an RFA champion in T-City, and then you also have a tough champion in Brandao. Come on. Yeah,
two killers on this card, man. All right, next fight up, we have Albert Tumanov against Lawrence Larkin. Starting off with Mr. Tumanov here. He's got, 5 fights in the UFC? Lost his first one to Alcantara via decision, a split decision. He took it. I mean, even he was saying after the fight, he took it too light. He didn't try to finish it. But 4 wins in a row, 3 of them knockouts. Knocked out Lamsley, knocked out Matt Dwyer, TKO decision Nicholas Musoki. And then we saw the head kick and punch finish on Alain Jobin, which a lot of people actually were weird about. People thought Jobin was going to take that fight. Meanwhile, Lawrence Larkin is 16-4. Let me see if I can pull up his stuff here. There we go. He's got 2 in a row, man. 2 in a row. 1 over John Howard, TKO. And this last one that I thought in June at the Machida fight, Machida Romero, which, by the way, Machida getting blitzed in that fight. Jeez, I did not expect that at all. But he ended up TKOing Santiago Ponzinibbio, and that was definitely I didn't expect. That coming from a guy that had lost 3 in a row and was in trouble. I mean, he was destined to get cut. Everyone thought for sure he gets cut after if they lose to Derek Brunson at 177, he's going to get cut. He lost to him, and they kept him around. He's a fun guy to watch. And obviously Larkin, I want to say Larkin was one of those guys that kept missing weight, right?
He had problems with it, but it was more inconsistency since coming from Strikeforce that they made him move to 185.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He also holds a win over Robbie Lawler. So, yeah, definitely that helps his up in Strikeforce in 2012. Decision win, mind you, but still a win over Robbie Lawler, still a win over a champ. So he's coming in here taking on Tumanov. This is gonna be 3 fights in a row. Gonna be fun as hell to watch. These are 6 guys that like to throw down, right? Throw hands. So especially Larkin between Tumanov, both of them are just assassins. It's insanity. Like I'm excited as fuck for this fight, just as much as I am for the main event. So I don't know who to pick here, man. But I'm gonna lean with I'm leaning towards Tumanov here. Who you got?
It's the same, man. It's really hard to see because both these guys got power. Both of them just want to go in there and knock each other out. I've seen on on Larkin's page on Facebook. He's jacked for this fight. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Tumanov as well, just because that Joe Ban fight, it opened my eye. Like, that guy can throw power. It was bad. A lot of people were saying knockout of the year quality stuff that he did to Jovan.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's gonna be fun. I don't know how. Tumanov though. Tumanov is my pick for that fight for sure.
Yeah, I'm taking Tumanov as well. You know, it's just like you were saying, it's two guys that want to just throw down and everything. It might just be whoever gets caught first. So it's I don't know. I'm excited as hell for it. All right, next fight up, the co-main event. Andrei Arlovski against Stipe Miocic. First of all, let me get your thoughts on this one. People are saying this is a title eliminator, right? That the winner of this fight will likely get a title shot against the winner of Verdun and Velasquez. What do you think?
I can see it, but I can see it only if Arlovski wins.
You don't think Stipe gets a title shot if he wins?
I think they're going to find a way to say that he doesn't deserve it because Junior beat him. But then you also have, what's his name? What's the guy who does a lot of horse meat again?
Oh, Overeem?
Yeah, Overeem. He beat JDS, so there's a lot of talk that because it was his last fight on the contract, UFC is going to throw him a bunch of money and a title shot. So, I mean, I could see Arlovski winning. If he wins, he gets the title shot. If Stipe wins, I think they're going to make him jump through another hoop. Like, if Rothwell wins, they're going to be like, here, beat him now. All right, take your title shot.
Yeah. It's rough for me, man. I'm with you on that. So let's talk Stipe Miocic real quick. Stipe is 13-2. He's got wins over Mark Hunt, Fabio Maldonado, Gabriel Gonzaga, Roy Nelson, Shane Del Rosario, rest in peace, Philip DeFries, and Joey Beltran when he was still in the UFC. It's his losses are Junior Dos Santos and Stephen Struve in the UFC, right? The JDS fight is what it is on that one. But Arlovski's on this like rise again in his career, man. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in a row, 6 wins in a row, dating back to 2013 at World Series of Fighting, 4 in a row in the UFC. Got the split decision on Brendan Shaw, which I honestly thought that Brendan won that fight, but whatever. Then he knocks out Antonio Silva that nobody expected, and then knocks out Travis Brown. Nobody expected that, and then he bores the hell out of us against Frank Mir. That is what has me very concerned about this fight. Not because I think Stipe is going to make it boring, but I think Arlovski might try to make it boring. And it's that's the thing to me, man. When we were talking a second ago about should this be for a title shot? If it's like a Frank Mir Arlovski fight, which I don't think Miocic is going to allow, but if it is like that, hell no. But I also understand what you're saying with the whole throw a contract money and Overeem with the guaranteed title shot. So it's really iffy. On this fight, though, I think we're gonna see the end of Arlovski's rise to a title fight again. I think Stipe is gonna take the fight to him and knock him out. I really think it's gonna happen. Who you got in this one?
I could not agree more. I love the way Arlovski has been, though. I mean, his last fights, his last loss, I believe, was to Anthony Rumble Johnson in World Series of Fighting. He's been on a tear, but Miocic, I don't think that JDS fight was really a loss. What's up, Josie?
What's up, guys?
What up?
I was at the movies with my kids.
Oh shit, we didn't pull you out early, did you? Did we?
No. It ended like just a few minutes ago. So.
What'd you see, real quick?
Hotel Transylvania 2.
Never even heard of it. Is it like a kid? It's a kid movie, right?
It's good for kids. You'll laugh.
All right, well, hey, we're on the Arlovski fight, so hell, fuck it. Let's go with Jesse real quick. Who do you think wins this one? Arlovski, Stipe?
What did you guys say?
I said Stipe is gonna knock him out. And Don, who are you saying?
Stipe is gonna do the same thing he did to Hunt. He's gonna hold him down and TKO him.
Those aren't bad picks, but honestly, I'm not sold on Stipe. I don't know what it is about him, but I'm just not sold on him, and I think Arlovski can pull this off. I don't know. I've seen Stipe's performances; they're really good, but something about the how he's performed in the last couple of fights just doesn't sell me on him. And you've seen Arlovski in his last couple of fights. I mean, he's caught fire somehow. That different training camp, I don't know what it is, like just being renewed in the sport. something, but he's doing a lot better, so I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, it's possible, and you got a couple people agreeing with you. Nick picked Arlovsky as well, and Andrew Reed saying Arlovsky wins the co-main, and but my drive saying Arlovsky's win streak ends here, and that's what I'm thinking too. So, all right, man, main event time. This is a sick main event. Like you couldn't pick a better, I don't think, a better fight to start 2016 with. Robbie Lawler, the champ, against Carlos Condit, number 4 ranked welterweight. This is a hard one to call, man. I'm still having a hard time picking it. I know who I'm going to pick, obviously, but it's such a hard fight. I mean, Dom was saying before the show started that the betting lines are dead even. Like, they don't know who to bet on. And Dom was saying he wouldn't bet on anybody. I wouldn't bet on anybody in this one either, as far as this fight goes. It's just too damn close. Let's start here with Don, man. Who are you taking in the title fight?
It's so hard to pick against Lawler because of the way he's looked, but I'm going to go ahead and say Condit takes it. Like I've said before, the whole thing with Condit, he's never really been rocked. In the time that he's been finished, it really wasn't a finish, in my opinion, with that whole Tyron Woodley fight. But the champ, he's been finished. He got rocked in his last fight. Condit throws hard, and he can throw hard for 5 rounds. It is a nonstop game with that kid. I see the step-in elbow being used. I could see a flying knee being thrown. I just see Condit using all of his Muay Thai, all of his striking perfectly, taking the title back to Jackson Wink. All
right, Jesse, who you got, man?
Man, I agree with Don there. His assessment, except for that flying knee, just because I think we know that flying knees are kind of a bad idea ever since the Ronda thing. But I agree, man. I agree. I think Condit's elbows are going to be a big factor. And Condit, I mean, ever since he joined the UFC, I started beating the drum that this guy's a different type of fighter, different type of striker. And you saw what he did to GSP, in his fight. I mean, he did not give GSP what GSP wanted. It wasn't an easy fight for him. And I just think Condit has all the tools to really win this fight.
Yeah.
So that's just my assessment. I really think that the other thing that's going to be a different factor here is that Condit sticks to a game plan, no matter what. He's not going to get emotional in there. He's not going to let, Lawler dig him into like one of these dragged out fisticuff fights. He's going to stick to his game plan, whether the crowd likes it or hates it. So I think that's how he's going to win. He's going to, come in with one of those legendary Jackson Winklejohn game plan. Really just stick to the game plan and win it.
All right, I'm with both of you, Condit. But I think it's way more violent than the usual Jackson game plan thing. I think the game plan might be to stick and move, run around a little bit, get some space and everything. But I think Condit's going to end up finishing Robbie Lawler. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said that. But Don said it. Roy McDonald rocked him. He's been knocked out before. Nick Diaz knocked him out with his little punk punch. Now, mind you, that was way back in the day when he still was in the Pat Miletich camp. But, Lawler has been knocked out. And Rory, when I saw Rory hit him with that head kick, I thought that fight was over. I thought for sure he was going to be able to take him out. And then at the start of the next round, Rory, he had him rocked again. So Condit, if you get rocked with Condit, there's a really good chance that you're going to be finished, right? The step-in elbow, beautiful thing Condit does. Not a lot of people do it. He does it perfectly. And if you watch Robbie Lawler's fights, I hope you train for it because he leaves himself open to a lot of those, honestly. And if you try to do the whole blocking punches with your face thing against Condit, you're going to eat elbows, knees, everything, head kicks, spinning shit. And we know Condit likes spinning shit to throw when it's least expected. So I'm taking Condit as well. It's just I just think it's just like Jesse was saying, he's just a different type of fighter, and the fact that he doesn't get emotional whatsoever. At least that's what it seems like in any of his fights ever. And we've seen Robbie start screaming and grunting and oh come on and everything, and Condit don't do that. Condit stays level-headed. His mind's always clear, and he sticks to the game plan. So I'm taking Condit as well. And on Twitter here, we get Andrew Reed saying Condit. And Nick Pilecki yelling Lawler all day, and then Andrew Reed tells him to behave. So yeah, those are going to be our picks. Yes, that's our pre-fight show. Appreciate Jesse jumping on after his movie last second. It's all good though. Appreciate it, man. But real quick though, on for Jesse on the what fight was I thinking right now? On the Poirier Duffy fight, who you got?
Oh, that was a hard one to really analyze. But I really think that Poirier is going to be able to just do something. I think his experience, he's got a higher caliber of people that he's fought, plus the fact that the new weight class that he's at, 155. When he fought what's his name, Connor, he was at 145. He got clipped, and I'm pretty sure that it was because of the weight cuts that he was doing to get down to that weight. And I think that his new weight class, you've seen him. I mean, his last 2 fights, he's looked like a beast. So I think Duffy is going to come in here, try to outstrike him. And maybe he might be able to, but I just don't think he's going to be able to rise to the caliber that Poirier's at. And I think Poirier is going to be able to finish him off. I think I picked him. I don't have my picks with me, but I think I picked him for a TKO, probably in like the 2nd round.
All right, so it's you and Don go with Poirier. I'm picking Duffy. So and Don was making the point. What's up?
It's not an easy pick. I mean, like you look at what Duffy has done, kickboxing, boxing. I mean, he's a diverse striker, and he could use any one of those tools that he has. But I just think that Poirier has just the more well-rounded. He puts it all together. Much smoother than I've seen Duffy be able to do it. Duffy's more like that, like a Michael Bisping, that like he just likes to strike, really doesn't like to mix it up a lot. If he does, it looks awkward, but he will do it. And just I don't think Duffy is at that level, so I think that's where he's going to run into trouble.
All right, that's gonna do it for. I'm about to jump out to a movie myself, so it's all good. Anyway. That's going to do it for our pre-fight show. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, let me throw down the times real quick. Fight Pass prelims begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 3:30 p.m. Pacific. And 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for the FS1 prelims. Pretty sure there's a game tomorrow on FS1. Let's hope it doesn't go to overtime and we get screwed out of that. And the main card on pay-per-view, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's a good card, but it's not, throw down your own $60 or whatever. So if you can go out to a bar with your friends, I recommend it. Or, the other way you all do it. Don't lie. We've all done it. Online for fun. So, anyway, I appreciate Jesse coming on. You can follow him at SPWAT. It's SPWAT1983. Am I right? Cool. And then, Dom, what's your Twitter name? That changes all the fucking time.
It's still the same. Dom the MMA guy.
Oh, that's all right. Don the MMA guy. I had you at Don _ whatever. Anyway, at Don the MMA guy. Follow him for sure. Dude's funny as hell. And then you can follow me at ELAW31. What's up?
I was saying like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something, bro. All right.
No.
Follow Nick at NickXMicro and tell him he's an idiot and that no one's sleeping on Lawler. Okay. Anyway, let the rest of you guys go. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys tomorrow on Twitter during the fights and enjoy yourselves. All right. See you guys.